If you had to ask me, post-Brexit, you came to me and said, which newspaper, local newspaper indeed, should I buy a subscription to get the best local, up-to-date news that would constantly report on Brexit and give good, accurate reporting, then I'd be torn. Because, first of all, I'd definitely say the Yorkshire Post, but we're going to go through the Kent Online today. Because I can't believe, I genuinely can't believe that the Daily Mail, the Daily Express have not picked up on this story yet. They might do, and maybe I could be wrong by the time this video comes out. But this speaks volumes of what is about to happen next year, and this isn't something new. We've warned of these extensive lorry queues causing problems in ways that we have predicted and other ways that we just yet can't quite imagine yet. Because one of the things I've said about Brexit, very often it's going to be the problems that we know about that cause problems, but there is also going to be it's also going to cause problems that we yet don't know about that become problems. And like I say, please do hit the like and subscribe button, because trust me, we will be covering those when they do happen. So as we jump into this Kent Online article covering this, please also do remember that there is a link down below to my Patreon page and a one-off donation link where you can buy me a coffee. And thank you very much to the people that do support me for that. So, on with this. So, this comes from the Kent Online, as we said. And lorry driver stuck waiting in Calais speaks of a 15-mile queues and 6-hour delays. A haulier from Sittingbourne, making a twice-weekly trip to Belgium, said a 15-mile queues for lorries waiting to board ferries to Kent spelled a looming disaster in the new year. Mark Seller, owner of MAS Car and Commercial on the Eurolink Industrial Estate, took up part-time haulage work as a way of meeting ends meet, as a way of making ends meet during business slowing during the coronavirus pandemic. For 6 months, he was able to complete the trip in a single 15-hour shift, but with the TAP routinely enforced on the A20 and a higher number of vehicles travelling to the port, one trip is now taking him 3 working days. So imagine that. And just imagine this. It's gone from 15 hours to 3 days. That is a lot of money, because that's now going to get there in 3 days. When someone in the continent can just go, I can get you the same thing a lot, probably cheaper, because they're not having to pay the tariffs on it, and they can get you it quicker, probably in less than 3 days. Our businesses are going to be massively uncompetitive in one of the biggest, closest markets they have access to. And this is going to add cost to us. It's going to result in job losses. It is going to result in, increased prices. It will cause a number of other things that we've talked about and even haven't yet talked about. But this is something that we have been warning since 2016. And yet we were ignored and just weren't listened to. But, the chickens have come home to roost, and there is no way that you can hide this after next year. So, Speaking to the Kent Online, whilst waiting to return to Kent, the 55-year-old said the country's roads are getting increasingly worse as the Brexit transition period nears. Mike always will always leave Sittingbourne just after midday for the 2 a.m. ferry, but today's early morning journey onto the boat took about 6 hours. He said the last 2 months, I'm lucky if I get the 4 a.m. ferry. The 2 a.m. ferry is already full. That was the first signs of problems in late November, and that the traffic access and across the water is increasing. Last night was the worst night so far. I got halfway down Jubilee Way to form a queue into the port. It's the worst it's been for years. Last time it was this bad was because searchers due to clandestines getting onto lorries. When Mike eventually got to the port, he was told that the 4 a.m. ferry was full and would have to wait for the 6 a.m. ferry, which was also 40 minutes late. He said, I can't see me getting back into the port before 5 p.m. and then I'll have a 9-hour break because it'll be over my hours, and then I'll have to catch a ferry early Saturday morning. So one job turns into nearly 3 days worth with just the ferry delays alone. With driver hours recorded on the technograph and routinely checked, such as the Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency, drivers like Mike have no choice but to accept the delays and the extra time spent waiting just to cross the water either side. But the state of the roads in Kent pale in comparison to Calais. Earlier this week, Mike drove past 15 miles of lorries queuing towards the French port en route to Kent. He said, Calais is worse than Dover, but last night was the first time I've experienced serious problems in Dover. Although he originally took up work to raise some extra cash, Mike is not sure how he can operate in the new year if delays continue both sides of the channel. He said, I can't see anyone making any money going abroad when there's a 6-hour delays just to catch a ferry, because no one is paying that driver for those 6 hours while he sits there and waits. He's getting paid he's getting a pay rate per load. Drivers are away for sometimes 20 to 25 hours on what would normally take 12 to 15 hours, and that's no through fault of their own. Mike has also noticed a significant increase in vehicles being stopped and searched. Earlier in the year, his vehicle might be stop searched maybe 1 in 10 times, but in the past month, it has been round 1 in 3 trips. He said the French and English have increased their search procedures, so tailbacks are caused because there's been far more searching than there has ever been before. Fears that Kent's roads are heading for traffic chaos have been steadily growing in the past few months. Earlier this week, a logistics expert urged the public not to blame hauliers for using laybys and parking on roads across Kent. Mark is concerned that the new year will spell chaos with lorries parked up waiting to join queues to the port. And with the lorry park at Salvington still under construction until the end of February, there could be scores of hauliers forced to park up wherever they can find. He said it's going to be disastrous, and not only that, but we don't offer any facilities of what you'll find at weekends. They're just parked all over the industrial areas, and that's because there is no facilities for anyone. Where can they even go to the toilet? On our estate at Eurolink on a Monday morning, there are bags of feces everywhere. They've got nowhere to put it. Part of you says, this is disgusting, and then the other part of you says, what else can they actually do? And, we've warned about this and heard about this before, about Kent becoming the toilet of England, and it's already happening. But yeah, this is the future for these lorry drivers, unfortunately. Um, you know, and this will cause delays. This will cause increase on our products. So that will mean increase in prices because these prices are not going to be absorbed by the companies. They're going to be put onto the consumer. And once again, something that the Brexiteers said will never happen is going to happen. So, thank you for watching. As always, please do remember to hit that like and share button, and of course, please do remember to give a visit down below to my Patreon link, as well as a one-off donation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can buy me a coffee. So, with that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time.